Hi friends, I'm Scott from Sharky's Greenhouses and Beat Your Neighbor Fertilizer, and today we're talking about Easter cactuses. Now you're probably aware of the Christmas cactus, but did you know that there's also a Thanksgiving cactus and an Easter cactus? And that's today's subject, is the Easter cactus. So they're all in this family, but they're very different, and they get that name from the time of year that they bloom. So the Easter cactus, guess when it blooms? Easter. And it is different, and you can tell the difference, one, by the bloom. So the blooms on the Easter cactus, they're very star-like. But on the stems are actually very different. But if you just looked at a Christmas cactus or a Thanksgiving cactus and not compared them side by side, you might just assume that it's just they're all Christmas cactus, but they're not. So with the Easter cactus, you can tell it has a very round stem, and we do have a good picture that shows the three side by side. When you go to our beatyourneighbor.com, we have a blog article on the three different types of cactuses. And we call them cactus, but don't think of like the desert prickly pear type of cactus. The Easter cactus is actually native to the Brazilian rainforest. So you have to really think about what is its environment. And that environment is tropical, and it lives not in the ground, so they don't thrive in the ground, so we can't just give them potting soil, but they actually thrive on and grow in areas where, like on the tree trunk or on a rock underneath the canopy, so they don't get full sun. So that's the things that we're going to talk about. What do the Easter cactuses need as far as care? And we're going to cover light, we're going to cover watering, and we're going to cover the temperature, and then of course fertilizing. So let's first start with light. As I said, they're native to the tropical rainforest, but not that full penetrating sunlight. They're under that canopy, so they get bright light, but it's very diffused. And so if you have a southern window that gets a lot of sun, that's good, but they cannot sit in that full blasting sun. They like that bright light, but indirect. So a nice south-facing window where it's not sitting directly in that light would be perfect for them. Watering is really one of the keys, and it's going to make or break you. And yes, they're a tropical plant, but they do still go back and think about, we call it a cactus, so kind of use that in your mentality that yes, they don't like a lot of water. So you really want to let that soil go dry and feel it with your finger or a moisture meter. It should be very, very dry. So allow the soil to dry down in between waterings. Do not overwater them. That's where you'll really get into trouble. And make sure that there are drainage holes on the bottom, because if you water and it's sitting in water, it has a very delicate root system, and the roots will just rot if they're sitting in that soil. So they do need to be very, very dry to the touch. So go easy on the watering, let the soil dry out. And the third thing I want to talk about is temperature. And what sets that bloom is they like a little bit cooler temperature. So they like that 55 to 60 degrees at night temperature. And you know, for me, they're kind of hard because they like that cooler temperature. I like warmer temperature. I sit in an easy bake oven all day long in the greenhouses, so I like warmer temperatures when I go in the house. And so we have a little bit more trouble with the Easter cactuses in our house. So that's why we keep them in our floral shop, so it can get down a little bit cooler at night. So that's the thing to think about, is they do like that cooler temperature at nighttime, and if you need to move them and put them somewhere where it gets a little bit cooler, you might have to do that to trigger the blooms, so that the blooms will start setting for that nighttime temperature. That's what it's relying on, is that cooler nighttime, 55 to 60 degrees nighttime temperature. So the last thing I want to talk about is fertilizing. And Easter cactuses are heavy feeders, meaning they like their nutrients. They need that boost of nutrients, and our Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer is perfect for them. And you're going to fertilize them about once a month. And again, when you're mixing up the Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer, you just mix it to the directions, and then you will fertilize them, which really is just watering them just as normal when it needs to be watered. And again, going back to that, soil needs to be pretty dry to the touch. So don't fertilize until that soil is really dry. So I hope those tips and tricks help for caring for your Easter cactus. Enjoy them, they're beautiful. And you can get an Easter cactus, a Thanksgiving cactus, and a Christmas cactus and have all of them so you can have that blooming at all those different holidays of the year. We have more tips and tricks on our beatyourneighbor.com website, so you can head over there, and of course you can find our Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer and a lot of other products that we have for your garden. Also, please be sure to give us a like on this video and a thumbs up, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Take care, have a great day, thanks for watching.